Right now I'm with Michael Cipriano, president of the Millennia Group. Welcome to Conference Live.
Thank you, Jerry.
Michael, you guys actually were the first ever document management company to ever be, sort of a featured person vendor here at Realcomm. And
That's
that was
true.
How many years have you been doing this?
Well, as a company, we've been doing it for 16 years.
So you're one of the key names in document management in the industry. There are probably about 15 different companies here that use your services.
At least, yes.
And of the companies that you use in all kinds of things, I would guess that the biggest percentage of those are real estate.
Absolutely, probably 75 or 80%.
So what's the biggest challenge to companies out there who are considering moving to a document management solution? Why don't they? Why are they hesitant? And what can you guys do about it?
Well, most companies would be hesitant just because they are resistant to change in some respects.
Sure.
But they're mostly changing over to a document management system because their users are telling them, I can't find what I'm looking for.
Right.
I've spent hours or however long trying to find a document and I can't find it.
Right.
So their challenge is to somehow get a system in place so that their users aren't lost.
Right.
And aren't wasting time trying to get information they need to do their business, which is either validating leases or collecting information from their tenants or vendors. They need a system to control all that.
Now, one imagines, okay, I'm going to use a document management service, and I'm just going to scan it, and boom, magically, it's all up there, and it's perfect, and it's in the cloud, and stuff like that. But I assume that when you actually start implementing this, that's not what happens.
Right.
So how do you handle that?
Well, our first and primary responsibility is to make sure that we tie all the documents to the core system. So their core system might be, in the real estate industry, it's the accounting system.
Okay.
So their accounting system has all their tenants, all their properties contained within that accounting system, and they trust that information. So it's our responsibility to take all these files, which might be in paper, in file cabinets. It might be some of it's been scanned already and sitting on a shared network drive. They might even have some of it already in the cloud, maybe in Boxnet or someplace like that. So it's all over the place and their users can't get it. Our responsibility is to take all those different silos, pull in the documents, tie it to their source data. So make sure every document is associated with the correct property and correct tenant, and then push it up into Filestar, our application. That way they know it's accurate because we've tied everything out, and we can even give them an exception report of what's missing.
What's the cost saving? What's the advantage? I mean, why shouldn't I have some boxes of paper in my business? It's safe.
Well, it's only so safe. I mean, if you remember Hurricane Sandy, if you remember down in Louisiana, another hurricane, it's not safe to keep it in paper. It's also not legally responsible to keep it in paper because your retention period is running out.
Right.
And you need to destroy some things at times just to maintain good legal control over your documentation. So much easier to do that if it's digital than
Now,
if
do
it's
you have
paper.
to destroy digital files as well? Or?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
You absolutely need to keep, your system has to be able to track the lifespan of that document, legal lifespan, and then get it destroyed when it's run its course.
So what it sounds like is that there may be other document management solutions, but Millennia Group will actually hold my hand and make sure that, I mean, I don't know how you're doing it, but you're making sure that that thing just didn't kind of halfway scan it. You're making sure everything gets up there.
We're making sure that you have a complete trusted set of documents in our system. Absolutely. That's our main responsibility.
So what's the future in all of this?
So really the future is most of these companies want to have this organized repository. That's number one. They're also looking at creating documents, and as you create them, make sure you can track that path so that it gets into the final repository from the minute it's created.
Right, so tagging things.
Tagging things at the time of creation or at the time of receipt, because you're still getting information from outside parties. And you don't know if that's a download from a website or coming in through an email. So it's that tagging and making sure that the routing of that document goes to the right place. So we see a lot of the future around making sure that those processes are correctly oriented and tied in with your document management system. Very important.
If I'm thinking about doing this and I'm sort of on the bubble about whether I want to make the commitment to go to a document management solution, or I'm not sure which one to pick, where are you going to head me?
Well, I'm certainly going to head you towards Filestar and or Collect Docs. But if you're looking at the differences, SharePoint is a big one out there. Box.net is an inexpensive model. Both of those really, on the surface, are nothing more than your unorganized network drive now in some other system.
Right.
But unless you spend a tremendous amount of money on SharePoint getting it organized and configured, it's not going to work for you. And the same goes with Box.net. Our application, Filestar, is pre-built for the real estate industry. And in addition with our transition services of getting that data organized and pulled in, far less expensive, equally as secure, if not more secure, hosted so you don't have an IT burden, keeping it running and keeping it maintained. And it's hosted so you have easy third-party access so that your now venture partners, vendors, whoever needs access to a set of documents can all come in and you don't have firewall issues. So it's a lot
Sounds
out
pretty
there.
amazing. And
It's a lot out there.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. MillenniaGroup.com?
MGDocs.
MGDocs.com.
MGDocs.
And do you blog or tweet or do any of those things?
Blog and tweet, and our blog is documentchecklist.blogspot.com. Tweet is Millennia Group.
Very cool.
At Millennia Group.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on and
Jerry,
telling us a little
thank
bit
you.
more, and I enjoyed it. Thanks for letting me
Thank
into
you
it.
very much.
Very cool. Well, that's Michael Cipriano and talking to us about Millennia Group, and we'll be back very shortly.